What is my allergies? My name is VTR and welcome back to another movie review and part of VTR's Creepy Frights. Yes, and today also, before I get into the review, is the last day of VTR's Creepy Frights. Yes, November 15th, the last day, and to close it off, I'm going to try to have 2 videos today. No promises that happens, but if it don't get a second video, this is the finale. If we do get a second video, well, then that's great. But today we are looking at Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. Before we get into it, let's read the synopsis. Freddy Krueger has slaughtered every last child in his hometown. He ventures to a new location, scouting fresh young victims to hack up with his finger knives. He arrives in a small town in which his long lost daughter Maggie works as a therapist for troubled youth. He attempts to recruit her for his dastardly pursuits, but she has other ideas. Father and daughter meet for a bloody showdown that will determine Freddy's fate once and for all. And with that being said, this movie sucks. This movie is not good. It is the worst in the franchise. I'm going ahead and saying that right now. This movie is bad. It is not good. It is straight up bad. There are so many problems here. So let's go ahead and start listing them off, shall we? That don't really have any positives, except for maybe 1 or 2. First off, Freddy Krueger is basically a parody of himself at this point. Nothing but cracking one-liners, being funny, and if this was your first introduction to Freddy, you would never be scared of him. You would never, ever, ever be scared of this guy. I wouldn't even think a little kid would be scared of him after watching this. It is not funny. It is not scary. It's not funny. It's trying too hard to be funny, and it's overall just poorly executed and overall. And also another bad thing about this movie is pretty much most of the acting is pretty bad. A lot of the story beats are rehashed from different movies. A lot of stuff is the only different new thing is Freddy's daughter thing, but there's stuff taken from almost every single other point of the franchise, and it feels like it's molded into this abomination, and it's bad. It's bad. It's one of those movies where none of it's even fun. There are some kills that I feel like are pretty decent with some pretty good effects. But you don't care about any of these characters. None of them are interesting. The story they're setting up isn't interesting. The twist isn't interesting. Nothing about this movie really stands out. It really feels like it's trying so hard to do something different that it winds up retreading on a bunch of stuff, tells us a bunch of stuff we already know, looks cheap at points, and the Springwood in this movie is filmed on a backlot, which you can kind of tell at points, and it's overall just not a fun time. I remember really straight up after watching this, I watched this with some people, and I literally said at the end, well, that sucked. And it's not because I disappointed, because I knew it was I feel like in all the other movies there's still stuff to like, and I feel like definitely with 2, 3, 4, and 5, or not 2, 3, and 4. No, 1, 3, and 4 feel like a cohesive story there. There's definitely 2 is definitely kind of its own thing, kind of. It feels, at least it feels that way. I know it's not, but anyway. This movie also is in that boat where it's just like, I don't know, like there's just some crappy Freddy one-liners in this. Like, there's not a balance of him being scary or comedic. It's all some of the kills and sequences. Like, there's this video game sequence that's really dumb. Um, and how a lot of the kills are just done in this are, so there is some there's this hearing aid scene that actually I think does use the comedy physical acting stuff pretty well, but like everything else comedy wise is bad. These characters, there's nothing to really like about them. There's nothing memorable. We learn a lot more about Freddy's backstory, and we learn how he got his powers, which is so dumb. And for some reason, like the last bit of this movie is in 3D for some reason. It's like one of those like put your 3D glasses on now kind of situation. I imagine people who saw this in theaters are probably like handed like 3D glasses like going through the movie, and like they're probably wondering when do I wear these? When do I? And then all of a sudden like, oh, now I put these on. It's like it's one of the oddest films I've sat through in a franchise, and it's definitely the worst in this series. Definitely the worst in this series. Like, hands down, one of the worst movies, and like this is up there with like uh uh Jason Goes to Hell, and like uh The Curse of Michael Myers, and Seed of Chucky, and like it's around with those. Like, I do want to make a video one day discussing like the worst horror movies in like the big franchises. Um um but yeah, this movie sucks. Like, it genuinely sucks. Like, I don't feel like there's really much. Like, I guess some people have fun with Freddy in this, but like me personally, it's just, and most people. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the Rotten Tomatoes scores right now. I'll get to my score in a minute, but critics give it a 22 and audiences give it a 32. And like, yeah, pretty bad film. It is a pretty bad film. There's not much. The backstory stuff is interesting until like I think a joke that Dead Meat made in his video, where like Chelsea said, like, when they showed like the him getting his powers, is like, we're not supposed to see this. And I agree, because it's dumb. It's very dumb. It's so dumb. Like, I'm not even gonna. I don't even know what to say at this point. The movie's just bad. The movie is literally just bad. Like, there's not really much else to say besides it's a very bad movie. And like, I've seen some bad movies, and like, this isn't. I don't even know if this like tops like the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen. I don't know, but it's still pretty bad. Especially since this for this franchise, where like the last two movies were kind of and all the other ones are pretty good. Uh, but this movie is just a dumpster fire of poorly executed ideas, poor acting, bad decisions, um, bad writing, bad character acting. Just so many problems this movie has, and it's just, I don't even know how you would have salvaged this script, because I don't really see how much salvaging of it to begin with. But yeah, and this technically was the end of Freddy, at least alone, in the Robert Englund Freddy. The next time we see, the next movie is not even about the actual Freddy Krueger, and Freddy vs. Jason is a Freddy vs. Jason movie, and then the remake is a remake about Robert Englund. But we'll get around to New Nightmare soon. But that's all I've got to say for this review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and this, you know what, just because I do have this, yeah, this is the final video for VTR's Creepy Frights. I'm not gonna do a send-off video like I did last year. But thank you guys so much for watching the Creepy Frights videos this year. It has been awesome. And this video going up is the last day to get your I'm Scaled beanie. You can get the link in the description below, and it is your last chance to get an I'm Scaled beanie. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.